Hello and welcome. Today we will start learning about group policy. What is group policy? Group policy is set of policies in Windows Server or in our domain controller that has the Active Directory role installed. So whenever we have a domain, we can have different policies, and those policies can be applied to any computer that is joined to the domain. So any computer that is joined to the domain can be part of a group policy. So what we will do is we will learn how can we create those policies, how can we apply those policies, and how can we use those policies on a daily basis. So we will learn different techniques and you will see how they actually work. And it is interesting. Group policy is interesting. You will see that. So as you can see here, this is my primary domain controller. Let me quickly log into my primary domain controller. You can basically log into any domain controller you want. Okay, so when you create a group policy, you don't have to do it through primary domain. You can do it from any domain as long as you are within the same domain. So we are on kd.local. When I go here, Active Directory users and computers, you can see that if I scroll down, I have something called group policy management. Group policy management. So this is where I can start applying different policies. So let's take a scenario here. Let's just say that Kawa is working with one of the companies, and Kawa manager comes in and says, "Hey Kawa, why users can set a password of 123? Do you think 123 password is safe?" 123 password is not safe, right? If you have a password that is 123 in a company, it means that that password can easily be compromised. Because 123 is very basic password. 123 is very easy password. That's why we want to make sure that all of our computers that are like joined to the domain should be using complex passwords. They should not be using basic passwords. We will see other settings too. So we will do our password management through group policy. So when I come here, the very first thing that you see on the group policy management is your domain name. So your domain name is always the name of the domain controller, which is like kd.local. That is your domain. You will always see that there is a default domain policy created. This is a default policy for the domain. So anything, you can see that anything that you change here, it will be applied to everyone. Anything you change on this policy, it will be applied to all the organizational units that you have, because this policy is at the top. So if you want to see that what settings are applied, if you want to see that what settings are applied for this domain policy, you can click on here, like you can click on details. So on the details, it will basically give you information about this default domain policy. For example, who is the owner? Domain admin is the owner. When was this policy created? When was this policy modified? And everything else. You can see right now it's enabled. You can do what? You can make it disabled too. Let's just say you want to disable this policy. You click here. It says, do you want to change the status to the disabled? If you press OK, this will be disabled. Another thing that is called settings. If you want to see the settings of a policy, you can click on settings tab. The settings tab will tell you what settings you have. what settings you have. So you see, okay, very first one is called this. You can see domain owner. If you go down, you see that delegation, password policy. Do you see this? This is default. This is what I was talking about. This is password policy. So you see enforce password history, maximum password age, minimum password age, minimum password length, account lockout policy, and all these. So these are different policies. Today we will learn about password policies. Okay, today we will see how password policies work. In order to work with password policies, simply right click and click on edit. Once you click on edit, one thing that I want to tell you here is that always be careful. Be careful when you are working in a production environment. Don't touch password policies. Don't touch policies that is under default domain policies. Always test it first. Test it and then apply it for users. Because if you change something here, it will change it for everyone. And user may experience problems if you don't test it first. Okay? So whenever you change a policy, it means you're changing a settings on a user's computer. So test these settings first. Before you make any change, always test. So today we will see how can we actually work with password policies. When you right click on edit, you see you have a folder called, on the computer configuration, you have a folder called policies, and under policies you will see that you have another folder called software settings, Windows settings, and you have administrative templates, and you have Windows settings here. And then if you click policies here, preference here, let me quickly check. So security settings. So when you come in the policies, you will come in the Windows settings. When you are in the Windows settings, you will come into security settings. So today we will work on account policies, local policies, and we will see how they work. So when you expand account policies, you have password policy. So enforce password history. This is the first setting. You can see that 24 passwords remembered. 24 password remembered. What does it mean? Enforce password history. This is one of the settings. And if you click on here, it will basically explain. So any policy that you don't understand, let's just say that Kawa wants to set this policy. Kawa don't know what does it mean with this enforce password policy history. Kawa can click on history, and then what he can do is he can simply click on explain, and once he click on explain, he can see that it is going to give you definition. The security setting determines the number of unique new passwords that have to be associated with new user before an old password can be reused. Okay, let's just let me give you an example about this history policy. Let's just say that Inam have an account inamullah at gmail.com. Inam set a password for his gmail.com 123. After few days, Inam forgets his password. Inam says, "Oh, I don't know what is my password." Now, what Inam can do is Inam can reset password, right? Inam can reset password. When Inam is resetting the password, if he tries the same password again, like Inam is trying to set 123 again, it is not going to work. It will tell Inam, "Hey Inam, you cannot use the password that you previously used." Correct? So that is password in history, enforced history. So 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 this 24 is too much. It always depends on your organization policy. Okay, it always depends on your organization rules, standards, and policies. We will set it 3 here. 3 is enough for us. Maximum password age. After how many days the password should expire? After how many days the password should expire? We can say 60 days or 90 days. Like every 90 days, after every 90 days, what will happen is that the password will expire. You will receive a message that your password is expired. Please set up a new password. All right, so that is password age. Maximum password age is how much? 90. Minimum password age is 1. 1 day can, so this is minimum password age. So that's minimum, which is 1, and that's maximum. So minimum is 1, maximum is 90. And then we have minimum password length, right? When Enam says my password is 123, what is the length? 1, 2, 3. It's 3, right? So 3. Here, how much we have? How many characters we have? 7, right? So it will not work. Your password must be at least 7 characters. So I will make it 12. 12 is much better. It's going to create more stronger password for me. 12. Password must meet complexity requirement. What does it mean? When Enam says my password is, let's just say, let me try something here. Enam says my password is Enam. Is this a complex password? It's not a complex password. It is simple password. Enam says Kabul. Is this simple password or complex? It's simple password. But when we have this setting turned on, what does it mean? It means it should be capital K at the rate B U capital L at $, this R 1 2 3. So how many characters? 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12. All right, so we can make it like this. So we have what? We have 12 characters, and it is complex. It is complex. We have capital letter, we have small letter, we have symbols, we have numbers. So what does it mean by complex password? With complex password, it means you should have small letter, you should have capital letter, you should have number, you should have symbol in your password. Right? Symbol is this. This is symbol. Any of these words are symbol. So that is password complexity. That is what? Password complexity. If you want to use encryption, like store password using reversible encryption, if you enable this, what will happen is it will store password using reversible encryption. So it is good, because what it will do is it will encrypt your passwords. Whenever it is stored in the server, it will do what? It will encrypt your password. If you want to use, you can use it. Alright, so this was password policy. Alright, so another policy that we have here is called account lockout policy. Let's just say that Enam typed his policy multiple times, and he typed the password wrong, right? He typed the password wrong, correct? So after how many attempts the account should be locked. So in our case, account lockout duration. Once the account is locked, for how many minutes should we lock the account? Is 30 minutes um, enough? What do you think? Is 30 minutes enough? 30 minutes is a lot, right? If your account is locked for 30 minutes, 5 minutes is good, right? After 5 minutes, it should basically do what? It should lock it. Account lockout threshold. After how many attempts the account should lock? 5 is good. Sometimes we say 10, but 5 is good. So after, if we type the password wrong 5 times, the account will be locked. And then reset account lockout counter after 5 minutes. After 5 minutes, it will do what? It will reset account lockout. After 5 minutes, it will allow you to type your password again to log in again. Cool? So, we worked on these two policies. We worked on these two policies. Let's go and test it. Let's go and test it. Now, if I go to administrative tools, I go to users and computers, and in here we will test our password. Okay, we will create a new user, and we will also try to set a password, and we will then log in to that account, and we will then try to lock out our account, and we will see how that one will actually work. So Active Directory, right click, new user. Okay, so when I say right click new user, in here what I can do is I can simply type my username. So my first name is going to be for example Ali, last name Mohammed, and a dot Mohammed is going to be my first name dot last name, and password 123123. Yeah, that's why we are testing it, right? We are testing it. We are testing to see. You see, the password does not meet the password policy requirement. Check the minimum password length, password complexity, and password history. Alright, so it's not working. What if I say enum? Enum. Oh, again not working. Now let's test something different. Now we will make a complex password. We will say, for example, ANHMAN dollar sign at 12345. Okay, so now we will test that. Let's see if it's gonna work. Worked. See, it worked because it did actually meet our password requirement. 11, 12, 13 characters, and it was now we will go to our San Francisco Windows machine, and in here I will try to log in. A.Mohammed, and then what was my password? My password is here. Enum dollar sign at 12345. So enum dollar sign at 12345. Enum dollar sign. So it's ANHMAN. Let me do like this. ANHMAN at 12345. ANHMAN dollar sign at 12345. Yeah, it's kind of like not easy to remember, but that is what we are supposed to do. The user password must be changed. Press OK. Now, if I say, for example, enum, see, it's not working. Same thing for me. Same thing for me. It's not working. So I have to make sure that I also follow the rule. I also do what? I follow the rule in order to set the password. So I will do what? Um, I will also set a password, and I will make sure that it is based on the password complexity. So now it's done. Now Ali Mohammed is able to do what? Is able to log in. All right. So now what I will do is I will simply sign out, and after signing out I will type the password wrong multiple times. So in here you will see one time, two time, three time, four time, five time, six time. So I typed wrong five times, right? After five times, now it's keep on loading the screen. Let's see what will happen. كمل لود كاميرا. um, Alright, so in here when you double click on Ali Mohammed user account, you will see that in the account is currently locked out on this Active Directory domain controller. This account is now locked. The user will now call you. Hey Kawa, my account is locked. Can you unlock it? Kawa will come here and say unlock account, apply, okay. Now, if you go back here and try again, see, two attempts, three attempt, four attempt, five attempt, number six, locked again. So that is what these policies are. So today we did learn about password or account policies. Today we learned about them. Tomorrow what we will do is we will learn about audit policies, we will learn about user right assignment, and we will learn about security options. You can see that we have a lot of policies, but we will only go with the important ones. We will not go with all of them. So these are different policies that we will learn tomorrow.